Welcome to AI Hacks with Liana. I'm Liana Temescu, the founder of sunnylabs.ai, which is the top AI cybersecurity platform that ensures AI agents are developed securely, privately, and in a compliant way. In a nutshell, we stop AI agents and chatbots from getting hacked. We also create educational content and courses on developing and using AI security. Let's get started.
My worst fear is what I like to call AI tests, where teacher uses AI to create an assessment and then student uses ChatGPT to generate answer and then they hit it back and then teacher uses AI to correct it.
Who's actually learning from that?
Meet Gavin Doyle. He taught in Ireland's most elite school, where 12 out of 100 students got perfect score.
I was teaching in the DEIS school, but the poverty was just nothing I'd ever seen before.
The teacher who built Ireland's first chatbot that speaks Irish, who made it to the TechIreland National AI Challenge finals.
There was this kid he was a second year in college, and he was like, "This is really cool. There's so many cyber geeks in this." He was like, "I'll be able to release this to the public." Trying to, one, help the student by giving them a personalized learning experience, but then two, also help the teacher.
This is Gavin Doyle.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to podcast. So today we have Gavin Doyle here. He is the founder of Examinaite.ie, or just Examinate. And that is an AI education company based here in Ireland that is helping students in Ireland to learn better and also helping teachers to teach them better. So Gavin is a former teacher. He taught maths and physical education, PE, and he also has a master's degree in strength and conditioning, which is a fact I loved. So yeah, welcome to the podcast. Thank you
so much for having me, and thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Cool, yeah. So first question is, before we go into the startup, I got to hear a little bit more about how you started. Why did you get started in this space? So actually, even before your career, what was it about maybe your past, or what was it that you were, what interest did you have that helped you to think, this is what I want to do, I want to become a teacher, and then maybe also helped you to start the startup after?
Okay. So hi everyone, my name's Gavin. I'm from Dublin, and I wasn't just in school as every lad is, and me and my best friend were inseparable. We were unfortunately in no classes together, but every second outside of class we were always hanging out. He lived across the road from the school, so we would go to his house for lunch, and I would just chat away to his mom. And it was probably November time in the my Leaving Cert year. She's like, "What's I going to do in college?" And I was like, "I have no idea." And she's like, "I think you'll be a good teacher." And I was like, "Okay, that's what I'm going to do." So I had a look at what courses were out there and what topics I liked, or what subjects I liked, and I landed on PE and maths in DCU, which was actually my local university. So it suited down to the ground, and that kind of gave me goals to work towards, where, this is how many points I need to get in. So that's what I'm going to aim for. And I just worked hard and got lucky and got in. And in terms of teaching, that's how I kind of fell into that.
I love that. It was I think of it as every guidance counselor's dream to be able to say, you should do this exact thing. And then for a student to be like, yes, that's it. That's my life. Yeah, it's my life.
Honestly, yeah. And yeah, I went actually to work in the school I went to. So I worked with my guidance counselor, and exactly as he says, I went in, he's like, "So do you have any idea what you want to do?" I was like, "Teacher." He was like, "Perfect." And I was all these interactions I had with him when I was little. But
and then you went to DCU, which is Dublin City University.
Dublin City University, yeah. So I studied there for 4 years. I did physical education with mathematics, and while I was doing that, I was also playing semi-pro basketball.
Cool. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So you were a semi-professional athlete.
Yeah. So I was dribbling both of those. It was a good time.
Cool. great. Okay. So then you finished up in DCU, Dublin City University, and then did you become a teacher kind of straight away, or?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I studied a master's in strength and conditioning, and that was on my mind at the time. But during my final year, COVID, and I graduated college from my bedroom, like most people did during the time, and I was kind of thinking that I might push the master's back a couple of years, and I'll just go into teaching. So that's what I did. I was very fortunate. I got offered a job in the school I went to. My younger brother was in sixth year at the time, so that was a really funny.
Were you teaching him?
So I didn't teach him directly. I was like offered to teach this class, and I said no.
So he was in his final year.
He was in sixth year. That's it.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, when I was in sixth year, he came into first year, so we had a year in school together. Okay. And then when I went back to teach, he was in sixth year, and it was my first year teaching. Okay. So Mom has like a nice little picture, the two of us, like first day of school and first day teaching and stuff. So yeah, that was a good time. We had fun with it, and yeah. So then I taught for a couple of years. Really enjoyed it.
And you taught maths and PE, which is physical education.
Physical education, yeah. It was mainly maths I was teaching at the time. And then I was just fortunate through the basketball. I got offered a scholarship to go study in Ulster University. And
Ulster University in Northern Ireland.
But Belfast, yeah. In Northern Ireland. And yeah, then I was fortunate with the basketball. I got the scholarship. Went and studied up there for the year, did strength conditioning, just being a semi-pro athlete. It was something I was interested in. In hindsight, kind of wish I'd done computer science, but I suppose we'll get to that. Finished up there, had a really, really good year, and decided to come back to Dublin for a year, do a bit of teaching, and again, really enjoyed it. Was teaching in the DEIS school, which is like, it's like a status given to like disadvantaged schools, and they get extra funding and stuff like that. But it was a real eye-opener because the school I was working in was very close to where I lived, but like the poverty was just like nothing I'd ever seen before, and it was tough, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of love for that school, and while all this was going on, said best friend that I mentioned earlier was killing it in the tech world, and
the best friend whose mom convinced you to study maths and physical education.
The mother who told me to
be a teacher.
Yeah. He was killing it in the VC world. He was the youngest VC in the world for a couple of years. I don't know if he still holds that title, but right now he's running his own VC firm over in San Francisco, and he's absolutely killing it. He's changing the world. He's investing in some of the coolest companies that are out there. And so through that, I always had an interest in tech. He'd always be phoning home and telling me about the sort of stuff that's going on in the world. I would like to say I was one of the first people in Ireland to use ChatGPT because he put me onto it so early. And so was keeping an eye on him. He moved to San Francisco at this stage. So once I finished the school year, I had the summer off, and I went and lived in San Francisco with him and his co-founders, who were like some of the most impressive people I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, I didn't know him in San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah, so I had lived over there for a couple of months, and at the time, he was working full time, and I was just there kind of chilling. So I was like, great, I'll teach myself how to code, and that's kind of, I suppose, that was my first flavor of any bit of technology. So they all were pushing to try to get into tech. So I just spent the summer building a few little cute projects and learning how everything worked. September rolled around, and I kind of made the decision to not go back to teach it and to try software as a career. And so I started doing a bit of freelance web development. So I built a couple of websites for a couple of small businesses. And yeah, that was really fun and really exciting because I went and learned to scale, and now I'm actually going and getting paid for it. And I was like, that's amazing. Was such a buzz off of that. And because I didn't have a formal computer science background, if I was to go apply for, let's say, a job in big tech, I would need a really, really strong portfolio. So I was building projects, building building up a portfolio, and that's kind of where Examinaite came from. It was just a project that I was building for my portfolio, built version 1 or version 0, and I showed my teacher friends, and they were like, "This is amazing. Can I use it in class?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'd love that." And yeah, just through my teacher network, kind of grew organically. So by the end of the school year, so we'll say like May, June, I had about over 1,000 users.
Great.
So I was delighted, yeah, and kind of went working on that. And my VC friend, I have a couple other friends they were founders. They pushed me to try getting into the startup world. So for the past maybe like 5 or 6 months, I've been kind of knee deep in startup land and having a good time.
End of it. So you only really started this at the start of 2025 or so, roughly. And it's already grown so much. Like you're already getting like students using it and teachers using it, and it's been really positive feedback. So actually, tell us more about Examinaite and what it is and how it works, and how it helps students and teachers.
Yeah, so I suppose version 0, what I'd done was I had trained an AI model on the current Leaving Cert curriculum.
And the Leaving Cert, just for anyone who's outside of Ireland, maybe just explain that.
Yeah, so it's our national exam. I suppose it's the state exam that all students have to take at the end of high school or secondary school, as we call it here. It'd be the equivalent of, let's say, A-levels in the UK, or maybe the SATs in America. And it's what determines if a student goes to college or not. It depends on their grades. They get a certain amount of points, and then the amount of points they get determines if they get accepted into certain colleges or college courses. So pretty big deal. Any Irish person you meet, they're pretty traumatized about Leaving Cert.
Yes. Yeah. I've recently had a dream that I was resitting the Leaving Cert.
To know it's because I'm, in startup land, and my sole focus is Examinaite. So I'm always thinking about the Leaving Cert and thinking about Leaving Cert exams. But I have started frequently getting more. I would wake up having like a nightmare that I got to resit the Leaving Cert. Just because it's on my brain more. But yeah, it's funny. You're not the only one. A lot of people have that.
Yeah.
But
so how is Examinaite helping?
Yeah, so version 0, what I'd done was I'd fine-tuned a model on the current Leaving Cert past papers, curriculums, and marking schemes, and then I would get it to generate differentiated exam-style questions. So it's essentially you can target students at any ability. This is for our video audiences, make a bit more sense audio. I'm using my hands to make a scale. So exam questions will be like here, whereas most students start out down below, and they have to build their way up to the standard of an exam question, let's say. So what I did was it's called scaffolding in teaching, where you slowly build them up to the level that they need to get to in order to access and be able to answer exam questions.
So it's starting off easy and kind of adding on to their knowledge of your time to get them to the level of the Leaving Cert questions.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just that one of the biggest issues that teachers face is differentiation. So being able to cater for 30 students with 30 different needs and abilities sitting in front of them. So I'm trying to help the student by giving them a personalized learning experience, but then 2, also help the teacher, taking workload off the teacher and creating the content and the assessments for them.
Yeah. And I suppose you would have seen all sorts of backgrounds of students as well, all coming from sort of different levels with your experiences in the different schools.
So I have a very fortunate teaching career. I have a wide range of schools that I've worked in. So one school I worked in was the highest achieving school in Dublin, one of the highest achieving schools in Dublin. The year I went in, 100 girls sat the Leaving Cert, and 12 of them got 625, which is the maximum. That maximum amount you get in a good school. You might have one, maybe 2 if you're a really good school. So 12 out of 100 is just mind blowing. It's a really, really good academic school. And then the flip side of that, I was in DEIS school up in Finglas, and that was the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I think the statistics in that school were, I think they were like the third lowest number of students being sent to third level education in the country. It was something like very low like that. So I've seen the range. I know what's out there. And in terms of differentiating questions, obviously most students start low and they have to be built up. But then in the likes of these really academic schools, some students have to be pushed beyond what's out there. You know, they have to be like, there's some really smart girls out there, some really smart kids out there, and they have to be challenged as well. So we're trying to offer that as well.
Cool. And I suppose AI helps with this. So Examinaite helps them, you're able to provide sort of the level that they need at the stage that they need it.
Yeah, exactly. And just, with the power of AI today, we can offer so much. So version 0 was the question generation, and we've also we're adding an instant correct feature where students can like take a snap or take a pic of their essay or their homework. It gets converted to an editable text document, and then an agent can correct it as if it was a leading cert examiner, give them a grade as if it was their actual leading cert, and then also give them feedback on how to improve that answer as if they had a teacher doing it for them.
Yeah. Yes. So really very personalized guidance for every student. And it's within the confines of in this case, of your startup, where you're able to make sure that like there's sort of those kind of guardrails in place that making sure that the way that you're helping students is what they need with your knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And also we don't want to completely cut the human out of the loop. I'm sure a lot of people will be scared about that. Every bit of feedback that's generated will be overseen by the teacher. So essentially a teacher will be able to create a classroom inside the application. Students can join the classroom, and any bit of feedback that the student is given by our software can be overseen, can be edited by the teacher. So humans are still staying in control.
Exactly. So basically, it sounds like you're not replacing teachers, you're actually augmenting teachers, helping them do their jobs better, helping them to teach their students in a way that works best for the students, and also helps the teacher to do it in a more optimized, efficient way as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like I know myself as a teacher, like the two biggest workloads that we have are, one, generating content for class. So whether that be like classwork, assessments, but then also the layer on top of that is differentiating it to all different needs within a class. And then secondly, we'll be correcting. So, you know, I would probably spend at least 2 hours a week outside of class time correcting tests or correcting homework. And the first 10 to 15 minutes of every class, nearly in every teacher's classroom, is spent correcting homework. So if we could, you know, offload that to an AI agent in some way, that gives teachers more to teach.
And that makes a lot of sense. And so in that case, you're kind of offloading some of the tasks that the teachers normally would have had to the AI. So just in terms of sort of the ethical implications, and also the kind of the security or safety implications of that, how are you looking at that? How are you making sure that, you know, this is a safe, secure kind of environment?
Yes, so I suppose the first thing that we can do is add a disclaimer, and that, you know, the AI might not always be right. Same way humans aren't always right. I know myself as a teacher, I may have said 1 or 2 things that are incorrect. I know some of my coworkers have also been saying it just happens. Obviously the EU AI Act is coming in, and it's coming in hard. So I've been spending the last week doing a lot of reading, trying to stay up to date with that, see what I need to implement, put in place to stay compliant, but also stay safe. I have a very expansive teacher network, fortunately, and every bit of content that I'll be generating, and because as well as the question generation, the instant correct will be doing notes on every subject. We'll be doing video solutions. That will all need to be overseen by a subject expert. So, I'm covered for maths and for PE because they're the subjects that I've taught and I know. But let's say for Irish or for French or geography or whatever it is, I'm lucky that I have a teaching network. I could pretty much hit every subject, and I'll have every bit of content checked by a person to make sure that it's curriculum aligned and it's accurate. Because the worst thing that you want is that, a bit of false and a hallucination happens, an AI makes something up, makes up an incorrect fact, the student learns that fact and then goes and puts it in an exam and, they don't get their marks.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And what about how are you looking at privacy for especially for students in this area?
Yeah, so obviously, if you're dealing with students, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with underage users. So it's like cybersecurity is really, really important, and any bit of data that's being collected is like it's not touching the AI at all. We're not taking anyone's personal data. We're not.
You're not trailing your models with the users' data.
Yeah, we're keeping those completely separate. There's nothing that the users will be putting in really that will be used to train the AI. So I'm not gonna sit here and claim I'm an expert. I'm still reading everything up, but we're gonna stay point.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. And also like with GDPR as well, that's also like I know we spoke previously and I know that was a tough concern for you, making sure that you're keeping your users' data private as per GDPR requirements. I know that was something that you looked at as well.
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate now to have a couple developers on board because, as I said, I have no formal CS training. I remember I built, let's say version 1, or I built a prototype. I brought it to a hackathon and showed a couple of people, and there was this kid he was like a second year in college, and he was like, "This is really cool. There's so many cyber geeks in this. Do not." He was like, "I'll be able to release this to the public," and I was kind of like, "Oh, yeah." So
that was the first version.
Yeah,
was you saying?
Yeah. So learned a lot, still learning a lot, but yeah, fortunately I have some really strong expertise on board now, and so the ship's gonna be airtight.
Yeah. So in terms of security, how are you feeling then for that now?
Yeah, like we had obviously we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. I had a chatbot. I built it myself. I was very aware, like prompt injecting. I would consider myself a bit of an expert prompt engineer, just because that's been how I've been coding for the past couple of months. And yeah, I played around with the chatbot. I tried a lot of prompt injections. It wasn't biting. Like, it was like, okay, cool, that must be airtight. And then Liana came in as an expert in the area, and she tore my little chatbot to shreds and show me, like, I suppose how unairtight it was. And but luckily, I have Sunny Labs installed into my app.
So I did not make you say this.
No, this is genuine. Yeah. I have Sunny Labs installed into the application, and ever since then it's been good.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So I suppose we talked about how you're helping the education sector with AI, but how do you think the education sector overall is moving forward with AI? Because it's being used in so many different ways, and I think it's still a little bit Wild West when it comes to AI in high schools, secondary schools, colleges, universities, and so on. I think everyone's still finding their feet with how it should be or how it will be in future. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Look, it's brand new. We're still figuring it out. It's still improving, and it's improving daily. How it's being used at the moment is some of it's good, some of it's bad. My worst fear is what I like to call AI tests. where teacher uses AI to create assessments as like they're throwing at the students, and then student uses ChatGPT to generate answer, and then they hit it back, and then teacher uses AI to correct it, and then it just keeps going back and forth like this, and the student and the teacher actually just like turn off. They don't actually have to do anything. They're literally just like inputting everything into a computer and then sending it back.
Yeah.
Uh,
So who's actually burning from that? Like the students wouldn't be through that kind of process.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's really important to keep the humans in the loop. So as I said, like when we use AI to provide feedback, that's still overseen by the teacher, right? The teacher will check that, be able to edit it, be able to add their own comments, be able to take stuff away, if they don't agree with it. And then saying to students as well, like we make the questions for them, but they still have to do the questions.
Before we continue, I want to take a moment to tell you about something that I'm incredibly passionate about, and that's the work that we're doing at my company, finalsWhy. As AI becomes more integrated into our daily business operations, we're seeing a critical gap in security. AI applications are getting hacked left and right through sophisticated attacks like prompt injections and data breaches, and most organizations don't even realize they're vulnerable. And that is exactly why I founded finalsWhy. We're an AI cybersecurity platform specifically designed to make AI applications secure, like chatbots and AI agents, and to stop them from getting hacked. We help ensure that AI agents and chatbots can be developed securely, privately, and in a compliant way with the likes of GDPR and the EU AI Act. So we give organizations the confidence to keep innovating without compromising on security. But we don't just provide the technology, we also create educational content and courses about the secure use and development of AI. Because ultimately, the best defense starts with actually understanding all of the risks. Plus, we work directly with companies to help them to develop their AI strategies and implementations securely from the ground up. With hundreds of companies already using our platform, and with major AI compliance regulations like the EU AI Act coming into effect, there's never been a better time to get your AI security right. If you're working with AI in your organization, or if you're curious about how to implement AI securely, check out sonylabs.ai. That's SONNYLABS.ai. Now, let's get back to our conversation.
Want to hack an AI in 30 seconds? At sunnylabs.ai, we built a playground where you can learn how prompt injections work and why they're the biggest threat to AI systems today. Try real attack techniques, see them succeed in real time, and understand exactly how hackers are breaking into AI chatbots and agents right now. It's completely free. Just register at sunnylabs.ai and start hacking instantly on the playground. No experience needed. You'll be amazed at what you can break. sunnylabs.ai. Learn to hack AI before someone hacks yours.
Yeah. And are you seeing, how are you seeing students using the likes of ChatGPT or Claude or any of those? And are you seeing it being used too much from a learning perspective, or are you seeing it do you think it's helping students learn more?
I think you have to learn how to use it right. Again, like if an essay is being generated and they just copy and paste, there's no learning being done there. Whereas if they use it as like a soundboard, I know I use it as a soundboard where I'd be like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. These are my thoughts. And then, I could have a discussion with, let's say, ChatGPT. Other really interesting methods I've seen are teachers would actually generate essays using ChatGPT, and they'd give them to the students being like, these were generated by AI, go and fix them, go make them better, go improve them. So again, this is like it's integrating it into the classroom, but also like keeping the students in control, and also stimulating the students to to actually go and learn the content and improve it.
Okay. I've even heard of so I've heard different people speaking about how some, if they're students, some of their teachers are very pro ChatGPT and some are very anti ChatGPT. When I say ChatGPT, I mean AI. So you pro AI versus or anti AI. And where would you sit in that camp? And what do you think teachers can take away from AI moving forward?
I'm very, very pro, obviously. Though my whole business is AI and education.
Yeah.
Trying to leverage AI to give each student the best education that they can get.
Yeah.
I understand why some teachers might be against it. And it's the same. It's not necessarily AI like before. It was like even like computers, or it was like videos or whatever.
Previously, for a while, it was Wikipedia, right? It was like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was at school, it was Wikipedia. Teachers hated it, and that's just because, if I'm a teacher and I've been teaching for 25 years and my students are getting results, I know what works. And like some teachers might be a little bit stubborn, but same in any industry. Like, I know how it's done. I know what works. I do what works, and I'm still getting results. So like, they might necessarily have to implement it, but yeah, it works, but could have worked better. And that's, I think, where AI can come in. Could, as I said, supplement or augment teachers, take a bit of like the workload off them, so then they can go and spend more time teaching, engaging with the students, and helping them.
Cool. So if there were any teachers listening to this right now, what kind of tips would you have for them for how they can leverage AI to help them teach better in a way that helps their students as well?
Use Examinaite.
Yes, mostly that.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say just start playing around with ChatGPT. I think it's the most accessible thing out there. There's so many great tools out there at the moment. I know, like ChatGPT would be a big one. Obviously, there's Claude. Gamma.ai is it's an AI tool for the building presentations. So I know some teachers love to build presentations on a given topic and they present that to their class. There's just, if you honestly just type in like AI tool for X, like you'll find something cool that could definitely help you and speed up your work process. And again, like it is a learning curve. Like I'd say I'm pretty proficient at prompting just because I've done it so much. I've read a bunch on like the most effective prompts. And like the most important thing is just like double check everything. Don't just ask for something, copy and paste, and think it's safe, because AIs can still hallucinate, which means they make stuff up or they get facts slightly wrong. So just also be careful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're saying definitely go out and try AI, try to figure out how to use it, learn it, and then find ways to integrate that into kind of the courses and the education, the teachings.
Yeah, definitely. Like, ChatGPT really is it's so broad, it's so varied. You can do so much with it. You could take one of your PowerPoints that you created 10 years ago and you could put it in and ask it to update it, make it more relevant to today's generation. You could use it for differentiation, where like make these topics a little bit easier, make them harder. And that's just more work taken off the teacher. And so then, students can be highlighted.
Great. And what about from the other angle? So I suppose from a student's perspective, how could they use the tools to learn? But I'd actually make that a little bit broader. I'm finding, especially in this day and age, there's always something new to learn. There's always some new topic, a new thing that's come out all the time. And so even just for working professionals, everyone has to learn, everyone has to stay on top of what's going on or just learn whole new things. So what would you say to students, either, full-time students or professional students, in the professional world as well? Do you have any tips or hacks for how they can leverage AI to help them in such a way that actually does help them and that doesn't just kind of do the thinking for them if their goal is to learn?
Yeah. So the first thing I'd say, this goes for students of almost any age. When you do go out into the workforce, when you are a working professional, you're probably gonna have to use AI in some shape or form. It's entering every sector. So it'll be worth your while to spend a bit of time figuring out how to use it. Like one thing I like to do is I might just like randomly pick a topic, let's say Irish history, and I would go to ChatGPT and I had to use the voice feature where you can actually like speak to it and like you can have a bit of a conversation with it. So I would, talk to it and be like, hey, I'm really interested in Irish history. I like these characters. I like Oisin, I like Fionn, I like Anya, I like whoever. I was like, what can you tell me about them? And then it'll go and do its research and it'll come back to you with like a whole story about them. And then I really use it as a soundboard. And in terms of learning, it's also great for like when I was learning how to code, I'd be like, okay, I'm learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Quiz me on these 3 things and give me a score on how proficient I am with these. And it'd come back and be like, it would give me, let's say, 5 questions each. I'd spend a bit of time answering them. I'd give them my response. And like some of the responses would be like, I don't know, or they'd be wrong. And it would come back saying, let's say you're 80% proficient in HTML and 70% in CSS and 40% in JavaScript. And you need to look over these topics and stuff. And then you literally just ask, oh, tell me about, what's a promise in JavaScript. And then it'll, give you a detailed explanation. One thing I really like to do is be like, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I love that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely helps. Again, this all comes down to playing around with it and learning how to use it to your advantage and use it as much as you can.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen there's a lot of ratings and comparisons out there on like all the different models. And there was one, I can't remember the source, it's gonna kill me, but it ranked the IQs of every AI out there.
Yeah.
I think like ChatGPT 03 is up to like, I think it's like 136 or something.
Okay.
And,
which is quite high, right?
Yeah, and then Google's Gemini Pro 2.5 is free up there as well. Like, and then all the rest of them are kind of like 90 to 100, which are kind of like average intelligence now.
Although IQ has been, IQ as a way to measure intelligence has been like a little bit debated.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
Like, and this is my, I suppose, sports science background. Like BMI is a very outdated.
Yeah, body mass index. Yeah.
It's very outdated. But also, it's a nice like high level overview on like how things are looking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we talked about Examinaite. We talked about some of the ways that AI is influencing education. We talked about some of the safety and security risks there, and how teachers and students can learn and use AI to improve their outcomes. And you've already given a few kind of tips or hacks that you use AI for yourself, but do you have anything else that you want to share? Do you have some either tools or any AI hacks that you think, okay, I can't live without this, or anything that's particularly worthwhile?
So the obvious ones are going to be ChatGPT. I use that as my soundboard. It's really funny. My friend would use Claude for this because he prefers Claude's personality. And I prefer ChatGPT's personality, which is a bit weird to say. But yeah, as I said, like,
what about their personality?
ChatGPT is just a little bit nicer. I think I'm a little bit of a softer soul. I do. It's very reassuring, That could be like, yeah, there's been talks and debates about it being like too agreeable, which I also think is an issue. Because you could say anything and they'll be like, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Which isn't always the case.
Yeah.
So,
because what is that ultimately? So many people are using it in that way, and then they're getting told like, oh, they're right about through most things they're saying. What is that kind of doing to critical thinking in a way?
yeah, exactly. It's knocking it to the side. As I mentioned before, there's Gamma. Gamma's an app which is really nice for creating PowerPoints. Most of my coding now has been done through Claude in Cursor.
Cool.
I'm really liking Cluely at the moment. I haven't been using it a whole lot, but I definitely want to go and start exploring that. And the Cluely lives are hilarious.
Yeah. They're the ones who the founder of it was in a university. Is that the same person?
He was in I think he was in NYU
or Columbia.
I think it was Columbia. And essentially, for those who don't know what Cluely is, it's I think their tagline is like it's an AI that sees and hears everything that you do, or whatever it is.
It's not this isn't sponsored by Cluely.
No, it's not sponsored by.
Or ChatGPT right there.
I know, but if you want to sponsor us, we're always open. But yeah, I suppose the purpose Cluely was built for was that it was this invisible AI tool, that would hear what you're saying, would hear what was being said to you, and it could also see what was going on your screen. So this was like really prevalent in coding interviews where, students would be asked to solve a problem using code. Cluely would hear this and then just give them the solution straight away. And the founder used this to get offers from major tech companies. I think it was like TikTok, Google, Amazon. There was a couple others. Meta might have been in there as well. They all offered him. They were like, yep, you passed the technical interview. And then he published that he used Cluely to cheat in these interviews, essentially. And all the offers were redacted. And then they all went to Columbia and being like, if you want to keep your partnership with us, you have to get rid of this kid. And honestly, I don't know, he's looked back. He claims he's done on purpose to create this, I suppose, this hype. And I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. I'm also quite interested in that one because I believe in the positives of using AI in that way, but also like a permanent kind of AI listening to everything you're saying. It as long as and I'm not talking about Cluely in this case specifically, but just some kind of AI always sort of listening is a little bit
definitely,
it needs to be done securely, it needs to be done safely. I think regulations are quite important for this kind of thing now.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's similar to I'm saying it in very common, like your family listening to you, or your Amazon, whatever, and the Alexa like listening to you, and then you're in terrible ads and stuff. I think it can be, it could be used, I suppose, inethically in that way, but regulations around that definitely needs to be put in place.
Yeah. But still, it's a very interesting technology, as are all of the other technologies that you mentioned. And yeah, like definitely, I love the part that you said about the personalities of the different AIs and how some people can be drawn to certain personalities. Although there's a part of me that also thinks it might be maybe the way you're prompting it as well.
Yeah, that could be it as well. Because I know when I'm talking to it, like I can be very Dublin at times, and I'd be like,
very Dublin.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's deadly, and then it would say that back to me, like, oh yeah, I would give it a light update. I'd be like, oh, I secure a customer, and it'd be like, oh, that's Daily Buzz or something. It's a dupe, yeah. Yeah, so it's funny in that way. Yeah.
So it's your PA as well.
Essentially, yeah, it's my kind of everything. Like,
yeah, cool, yeah, great. So yeah, like I think we'll we'll wrap it up there. I think this has been a super interesting episode. It's been really interesting hearing about your background and how you became a teacher and then how you started Examinaite, and how that's now growing and teachers and students are using it. And then also about how you're using AI and how teachers and students should be using AI. So super, super interesting podcast episode. Thank you so much, Gavin,
Thanks for having me.
for being on it.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice to be behind the camera as well.
Yeah. The team there. So yeah, and thank you so much to yourselves for listening. And do please make sure to like this episode on whatever channel it is that you're listening on, and also share it with your friends and subscribe to us to hear more about more episodes about AI hacks. Yeah, great.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thanks so much. See you next time.
Thanks for watching this episode of the AI Hacks podcast. If you liked this episode and want to see more, we release new episodes every week, so be sure to check us out wherever you watch your podcasts. And don't forget to check out finalsWhy to secure your AI agents today. Thanks for watching.